Hi, my name is Jeff, and we're at Skips on the Ridge, where we're going to see what's cooking for dinner tonight. And today, I have Adam here, and today we're going to be making some baby back ribs in the oven. And we actually have two types of ribs on the table right now. We right here have the pork spare rib, also known as the belly rib, because it comes from the belly of the pig. And then we also have the baby back rib, which we're going to be cooking today, and that comes from the loin, or the back of the pig. There's some differences between the two. We have the pork spare rib, which is going to be a little bit wider than the baby back ribs. You can see the difference right there. If you actually flip them over here, you can see the size of the bones is a lot smaller in the baby backs. And the spare rib is also going to have the brisket bone on them. You also can see in both of them we have a membrane here. It's shininess on that's the membrane. And actually we're going to remove it today for the first part of how to cook it. Removing it is preference usually. Some people tend to think it's a little chewy. I don't really think that, but I love the membrane, but other people don't. So we always, if someone asks, we'll always remove for them. It's actually not too hard, and we're actually going to have Adam do that for us on the baby back right now. You're always going to take a clean rag, and we're actually going to try to get underneath the membrane with the rag, and we're just going to tear it off, and it should just come right off if you get a hold of it there. And the reason you use a rag is because it keeps it nice and dry and be able to take it off really easy. So you can kind of see the difference now. If you want to show them the difference, you can see the shininess is all gone.
Yep.
And this is basically what it removed. Just remove this piece on that. So it's off. All right. So now we're gonna get to the seasoning part of it, which is my favorite part. The base is always gonna be some kind of rub. And because it's a pork rib, we're gonna use actually a pork rub. And this is Stubbs, which you can buy here. We can buy all this stuff here as well. This is very delicious. We have multiple different types of rubs. This is one of my favorite. And we're actually going to add and season up both sides of this nicely. So you shake it on there. You might have to pat it down a little bit. You try to get it nice and stuck onto it. This is just a base for it. It gives it a good texture for it. Some people might let it sit in this for a day or a night. You don't need to do that at all. I mean, honestly, you can just put the rub on there and then go from there. So we always want to season the top of it really nice. I like putting an extra coat, just thick coat of seasoning on there. It just gives it that flavor. You always pat it in there. Nice. Probably put a little more on the sides too. Get it nice and good in there. Just get it all over the place. I mean, you're going to lose a little seasoning, but it's going to give the flavor that the flavor's going to pop right out of it. So once that's done, we go on to our sauce base. And for me, because this is my recipe, I always do it this way. We have two different types of sauces. I'm going to start with an original. This is the original Weber barbecue sauce. And what I'm going to do is just pour some of it as a base into a dish. All right, we got that in there. And then I'm always going to add a second barbecue sauce. This gives it a little more flavor. It matches well with the original flavor. So we're going to actually use the Uncle Ralph's Magic Sauce here. And this has a really good taste to it. And I always try to use a generic or an original and then a homemade sauce from one of our local distributors in the local area. So then I'm going to actually mix that into that as well. So I would say half and half is what I always do. So we're going to actually close that. And we're going to mix it up nice so it kind of blends together. It's going to give it a nice flavor. Mix it up nice and good. We're going to add them. Let's probably slather on the bottom first. Always try to slather on the bottom first. Makes it easier. Just kind of see how he's drizzling on there. You could use one of these spoons, or you could use a brush if you have one. Really, whatever you prefer to use. You're going to want to make sure it's all smooth kind of into the meat. Once the bottom's done, what we're actually going to do is flip it onto the aluminum foil right away. You're always going to want to wrap up the baby back ribs nice and tight. We're actually gonna flip it right over onto this now. Right, yep. So that it's right on there right away. Now we're gonna do the other side as well. You want to do it. You want to like put enough on there where it kind of sits on there, because we're always gonna add extra barbecue sauce at the end. So put more than that on there.
Yeah.
Use your hands, use your brush, whatever you gotta do. Get it nice on there. Oh, and then look, it smells delicious, by the way. Oh, can't wait to have these. Make sure it's all seasoned up. I can get on the sides over here.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get them on the sides. Put more on there.
Oh yeah.
So we can get that even more on there. We're gonna make sure there's enough on there. And then we got it nice and good. So now we're always gonna wrap it up really nice and tight. So we're gonna fold it over nice everywhere so it gets nice on there. And it's always gonna probably need extra foil. So we're gonna add some more here. Put it on top. And depending on how thick the foil is, I'd wrap it at least twice, if not 3 times, just to make sure. Alright, wrap it one more time just to be safe and so we know. Alright. Alright. And once it's like that, you're going to throw it on a pan. And you're going to preheat your oven to 325 degrees. And you're going to want to put it in the oven for around an hour and 30 minutes to an hour and 45 minutes, depending on how much you want it to fall off the bone. I usually do around an hour and 30 minutes. And then when it's at that point, you're going to take it out and you want to make sure that the pork is around 165 degrees. And then you're going to either put it on broil in your oven or on the grill at a high temperature. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually use the extra sauce that you had left over, and every 30 to 45 seconds, you're going to baste on extra stuff as it glazes on it. So you want to glaze it on there at least probably 4 to 5 more times, so it gets a thick glaze of barbecue sauce on there. So you could do that probably for 3-4 minutes, so you get 4 or 5 times, and that's when they're perfectly done, and you'll get that thick sauce on there. And at that point, it's all done, and that's how you make my famous baby back pork ribs, made fresh here at Skips on the Ridge whenever you need it.